There are machines that were not merely built to run, but to be admired, listened to, and revered. In 1976, during an era when the motorcycle world was witnessing a post-war technological arms race, Italy unveiled a masterpiece called the MV Agusta 750 America, a motorcycle hailed as the Ferrari on two wheels. With more than 37 Grand Prix titles, MV Agusta was not just a brand, it was a symbol of mechanical precision and pure racing spirit. Every detail of the bike was crafted like a piece of art. A transversely mounted four-cylinder engine, hand-cast crankcases, and body lines steeped in Italian elegance. And even after more than half a century, the roar of the MV Agusta 700 America still echoes as a reminder that mechanical passion, when sincere enough, never grows old. The story of MV Agusta did not begin on the racetrack, but in the sky. In the 1920s, the Agusta family founded a company specializing in the production of military airplanes and helicopters. After World War II, when Italy was plunged into crisis, the same engineers who once worked with propellers and jet engines decided to change direction. They brought the spirit of precision and national pride from the air down to the ground. And thus, Meccanica Vergara Agusta was born. At first, they produced small, affordable motorcycles meant for daily transportation in the post-war years. But only a few years later, MV Agusta entered the racing world and quickly became a giant of the European circuits. What made MV different was not the quantity, but the philosophy of craftsmanship. Each motorcycle is a mechanical masterpiece. They did not chase production volume or market demand. Instead, they pursued perfection to the point of obsession. Every part was cast, polished, and assembled by hand like a Swiss watch. That legacy became the foundation for the birth of the MV Agusta 750 America. Its appearance was unlike any other motorcycle of the 1970s. The body was long, slender, and full of energy, as if sculpted by emotion rather than built by machines. Every curve, from the fuel tank to the rear seat, carried the essence of Italian romantic industrialism, refined, confident, and irresistibly beautiful. The multicolored fuel tank, painted in red, white, and blue stripes reminiscent of the American flag, the streamlined front, the leather seat tapering toward the tail, and especially the four perfectly aligned curved exhaust pipes, what the Italians affectionately called La Musica di Metallo, the metal symphony. Every detail was hand-finished, from the paintwork and bolts to the meticulously polished engine covers. The most striking feature lay in the sand-cast engine block, hand-cast instead of industrially die-cast. This process created a distinctively uneven surface texture, giving the bike a more organic and tactile presence. The entire frame was built like a mechanical sculpture, where every line had a purpose, and every element served the perfect balance between aesthetics and performance. Powering it was a transversely mounted inline-four engine with a displacement of 790 cubic centimeters, 2 valves per cylinder, and air cooling, producing around 80 to 85 horsepower. But those numbers tell only part of the story. What truly made this engine legendary was not just its performance, but the way it was crafted. Every component inside the engine was driven by gears instead of chains or belts, producing that signature mechanical sound, precise yet musical. That is why it was often called a four-cylinder symphony, where every click, every rev blended together like instruments in an orchestra. One of MV Agusta's most controversial choices was using shaft drive instead of the more common chain drive preferred in sport bikes. Many believed this was a deliberate move to keep private racers from taking MV Agustas onto the track. But whatever the reason, the result was an exceptionally smooth, stable, and refined riding experience, making the rider feel as though they were commanding a two-wheeled Ferrari. What's truly astonishing is that the entire engine was hand sandcast, meaning each block carried its own unique texture. No two engines were ever exactly the same. That very imperfection became a symbol of authenticity, as if every motorcycle carried a soul of its own. When the MV Agusta 750 America debuted in the mid-1970s, the motorcycle world was left speechless. While a Triumph Bonneville cost around $1,400 and a Harley-Davidson Electra Glide sold for about $2,000, the MV Agusta carried a price tag of $6,000, an almost unthinkable figure for a two-wheeled machine. This price gap made the press at the time ask, who would pay 3 times as much for such a strange Italian motorcycle? But for those who truly understood its value, the answer was obvious. Every 750 America was built entirely by hand, from the sand-cast engine block to the hand-welded frame, multi-layer paintwork, and visual inspection by master craftsmen. No industrial assembly line could ever replicate that level of finish. Few people realize that before the name 750 America captivated enthusiasts around the world, MV Agusta had once taken a very different path. In the early 1960s, the company introduced the MV Agusta 600 Touring, a large motorcycle powered by the same inline-4 engine but aimed at long-distance touring. And unexpectedly, it was a failure. The 600 Touring looked heavy, with a bulky frame, awkward front design, and most notably, a shaft drive system that made it feel tame and distant from the fiery spirit of Italian sport bikes. Though the engine inside was brilliant, the appearance lacked any appeal. People joked that it was the ugliest touring bike ever built with the heart of a Grand Prix racer. But from that mistake, MV Agusta learned how to create a legend. They kept the best part, the refined and precise engine, and redesigned the entire body, frame, and styling. The result was the birth of the 750 Sport, and ultimately, the pinnacle version, 750 America, a perfect fusion of racing performance and Italian elegance. Starting the MV Agusta 750 America was like awakening a sleeping creature. The first sound wasn't a roar, but the soft, rhythmic clicking of precision-cut gears meshing together, as delicate and deliberate as a mechanical watch. As the engine warmed up, that sound transformed into an intoxicating melody, what Italians call la musica di metallo, the music of metal. On the street, the bike exuded an uncanny calm. Despite weighing over 500 pounds, it maintained perfect balance. Every twist of the throttle felt smooth, every corner solid, and at low speeds, the engine idled with the steady rhythm of a slow jazz tune. But once it hit the open highway, the 750 America transformed, from a composed gentleman into a passionate performer. At around 7,000 revolutions per minute, the entire machine came alive. Each note of the engine, each vibration pulsing through the frame, handlebars, and even the rider's chest, all merged into one. It was no longer about control, but harmony. Man and machine breathing, pulsing, and singing together. At 70 miles per hour, the tachometer hovered near 4,000 RPM, the sound deep, clear, and impeccably precise. But drop a gear or two and open the throttle wide, and that's when the MV Agusta truly sings. The exhaust note becomes soaring and powerful, like an opera bursting across the open road. The intake hiss from the four carburetors blends with the exhaust's thunder, harmonizing with the wind slicing past the bodywork. Every sound wasn't mere mechanics. It was art born of passion. Unlike modern motorcycles filled with sensors and electronics, the 750 America was pure mechanics. Every action, twisting the throttle, pulling the clutch, shifting gears, demanded the rider's finesse. That very imperfection was what made it special. You couldn't be lazy riding an MV Agusta. You had to feel it, listen to it, and understand it. The farther you rode, the clearer it became why people called it the Ferrari of two wheels. Though not the fastest or lightest motorcycle of its time, the 750 America delivered absolute satisfaction, the kind only true mechanical enthusiasts could understand. When the engine roared, the boundary between steel and human vanished, leaving only sound, heartbeat, and the scent of fuel intertwined. At its birth, this machine was a paradox: expensive, heavy, complex, and nearly impractical for a market-craving convenience. Yet that was precisely its charm. MV Agusta never chased trends or tried to make a friendlier motorcycle. They believed passion didn't need to make sense. It only needed to be pure enough to never be forgotten. And that is why many call the 750 America the last breath of the old era, a time when engines, sound, and the human touch mattered more than electronic circuits. It stands as proof of a timeless saying among engineers: the last days of old technology were better than the first days of new. Today, whenever the exhaust of an MV Agusta roars to life, people don't just hear an engine. They hear an echo of an age, when humans still had the patience to cast each piece of aluminum, polish every surface, and lovingly call their motorcycle she. The 750 America is not just a vintage bike. It is a living memory of an era when passion triumphed over time itself. So how about you? Have you ever heard an engine that made your heart race? A machine that you didn't just want to ride, but wanted to watch, to listen to feel it breathe? Share your story in the comments below. I read every line, every memory, every piece of nostalgia you leave behind. And if you also love machines with a soul, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next journey. See you in the next video.